Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are enjoying this day. It's a very snowy day here in Toronto. Our schools are shut down because of a snowstorm we had overnight. So the kids are home and it's quite cold out there. I hope everyone is doing well. I really wanted to sign on today and talk about some common IELTS speaking topics that you may see on your exam. And I just wanted to let you know that whether you're preparing for the academic or general training exam, this video will help you better understand the question types that you should expect on your IELTS exam and for each section. So there are actually three different sections on the IELTS exam, and in each section you will be tested with different types of questions. Hello, Sandeep. How are you? Thank you for joining our live. Where are you calling in from? Very nice, Nepal. Thank you for joining us. And have you taken the IELTS exam before, Sandeep? Or which I have a real test tomorrow. Oh, I wish you the best of luck. Will you be taking the IELTS academic or general exam? Well, that's fine. While you are typing, I'd love to help you out, Sandeep. If you have any last minute questions you'd like for me to answer to help you before your exam tomorrow, please let me know. I'd love to help you out. I'm actually offering 1 hour free calls to help my student prepare. For their exam. This call is completely free, but because I know your exam is tomorrow, you may not have some time to get on a call right now, depending on your time zone and what time it is in Nepal. Um, but I'd love to help you. I really wish you the best of luck. Is there any specific sections you have a hard time with on the IELTS exam or you face challenges with, please let me know down in the down in the chat box. I'd love to help out. But hopefully today's session will be a bit beneficial for you. We are discussing the most common topics that you may see in the IELTS speaking section. So I just want to talk about some of the question types you may be asked in the IELTS exam. Hello, Manita. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Let me know where you're joining us from. And Sandeep, you were saying part two. Yes, part two could be quite challenging in the IELTS speaking section because you will be given 3 to 4 questions, and the examiner will give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. So, in that 1 minute, you need to make sure, Sandeep, that you really, really consider thinking about how you are going to introduce your topic, how you are going to conclude your topic, how you are going to discuss your topic. That 1 minute of brainstorming your ideas is so important because you will know that you will know exactly what to cover in that 1 minute, and that in those 2 minutes of talking, I mean. So for that 1 minute you are preparing, you really need to take that time to write every single point you will discuss so you don't miss answering any of your questions to the examiner. Oh, very nice, Manita. Thank you for joining us from Nepal. So guys, I just wanted to let you know, in part 2, make sure you have a good introduction, you have a good conclusion on how you are going to introduce the topic and how you are going to end things, because you don't want to just tell the examiner, okay, I'm done talking now. That's not how native English speakers talk. We have a conclusion. We, just like in your own language, I'm sure you just don't stay quiet, right? There's a way to end a conversation, saying certain things or concluding it. So you want to make sure that you do that and you remember that. So, what exactly are common speaking topics in IELTS? So, the IELTS speaking section is divided in three parts. We discussed part two, but there is a part one where the examiner will be getting to know you, your family size, your living situation, maybe your hobbies, what you like to do on the weekends. It's just an informal discussion between you and the examiner. And then after that, he will move on to part two of the discussion. Sorry, my throat is a bit dry. And in part two, you will actually be, like I said, required to speak for a full 2 minutes. So in part two, you need to make sure you prepare properly and that you speak in full sentences. Then in part three, then he will move on to part three. Part three is sometimes it could relate to the same given topics in part two, in part three. So you need to ensure that you speak in full sentences, but just remember that this is an informal discussion between you and the examiner. So you don't need to try to use such high vocabulary words. Yes, use synonym language. Yes, use words that are related to the given context, but do not try to use words that you don't have an idea about or you don't know the meaning of, because remember, this is an English test, and just because you use the high vocabulary word, but if you use it in the wrong context, you will actually get that answer marked wrong, or this will affect your band score, because the examiner will say, well, he used this word, but he has no idea what it means. So you want to ensure that you actually use words that you know how to use in the given context. Yes, Sandeep, I will put down my email address for you. Uh, Please email me and we will connect. All right, there's my email. So, one other thing I wanted to mention is that part one is all about introductions. Like I said, he's just getting to know you and your living situation, if you work or study, and things along these lines. And remember that this is a perfect opportunity in part one to start showing off your English speaking skills, to actually start showing off to the examiner that you are able to coherently and concisely speak or end the answer the question and end it properly. If you are able to show the examiner this, trust me, you will be way above the regular band scores, and this is so important. So, and in part two, just remember that the topics could range from all different things, everyday things, to more abstract concepts. You could be asked about, tell me about a time this happened or this happened. So you need to be ready to tell the examiner about a particular time you remember, or he may even ask you, who is your favorite athlete? Why is he your favorite athlete? What did you discover of him? I know these are certain questions that students have been asked recently. So you need to ensure that you are able to think of a favorite athlete right on the spot, and think of when was the first time you actually were introduced to this athlete. These are tricky questions that you have to think about on the spot, which could be quite challenging. I mean, even if you ask me right now, who is your favorite athlete? I'm not really a sports fanatic, but I got to think on the spot, who could be my favorite athlete? So you need to remember this and really be on your toes to try to think of ideas. But one thing I want to mention is, if you don't know the answer to a question, this is the most trickiest thing, or the answer to a given topic. Let's say you're not interested in sports. You need to change the wording of your answer and actually say something like, actually, to be honest, I'm not really a sports fanatic, but I know my husband loves an athlete whose name is Ronaldo, for example. So that way you are not just saying, I don't have a favorite athlete. That's not acceptable in the IELTS speaking section. You still need to answer the question. You need to think outside the box. How am I going to answer this question? How am I going to turn the tables around and speak in full sentences and answer in a different light? Sorry, let me look at the chat box. Yes, Sandy, please email me and we will connect. Hi, Ronak. Ma'am, make video to solve reading question. Help of grammar tricks. Okay, I definitely will do that, Ronak. I actually am currently working on some courses that I have been recording. I'm hoping to launch them by the end of this month. So definitely stay tuned, because I have all those reading questions and grammar tricks on how to find the answers in the reading section. So I highly recommend you actually join my mailing list, so you are notified when this course is launched. You can find my mailing list right by let me give you my, please, if you join my mailing list, you will actually be given a free IELTS study plan and a bunch of free exclusive information I send out to my students. So if you are able to join, then please click that link and you will be able to join my mailing list. Hi, Shania. How are you? I got the same band again. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Please help me. What section was it, Shania, that you were having a hard time with? So, guys, and finally, I'll check the mailbox, the chat box in just a minute, Shania. But part 3 of the speaking section is where you'll be asked to engage in a more complex situation conversation with the examiner. So you'll be asked questions, like I said, that could vary from your culture, society, any current events, how you felt about something. And this part is designed to test your ability to communicate ideas right on the spot. And you need to make connections between two different topics. So you need to remember this in the IELTS speaking section, that every section is completely different. Every part of within the three different parts have completely different requirements. Obviously, the requirement is to answer the question, but you need to remember the different ways to answer, the different concepts that you need to discuss. And you need to remember that you need to speak in natural spoken English. I always emphasize this over and over again. What is natural spoken English? Natural spoken English is when how can I say this? when native English speakers talk to one another, how exactly they talk to one another, that is natural spoken English. So, not the English that you read in magazines or books. This is more of a formal English. You need to speak more of everyday English, how native English speakers talk on a daily basis. This is exactly what the band descriptors will be required of you and how you answer these questions. Um, okay, so the reading. Yes, I know, Shania, reading could be quite challenging. Is there a particular topic that you have a challenging time with in the reading section? Hi, Rowinder. Thank you for joining us. How are you? Hello, Gagandeep. I don't think I said hello to you either. First time, but now I want to get 7 band. Yes, okay. And Gagandeep, which part of the IELTS exam do you find the most challenging? No problem, Sandeep. I will send you a message right after this call and we can have a chat. And so for the speaking section, I'm just reading the messages as they come through. For the speaking section, I want to emphasize again what natural spoken English is. Just think of your own language and how you would be talking to your friends. The way you talk to your friends isn't necessarily the way you write a letter to your boss or your manager. You would use completely different types of wording. You would use a different way, a different type of vocabulary. And that's why it's so important that you actually recognize this when you are in fact where you when you are in fact answering your questions. Yes, Gagandeep, I know the writing section could be hard. Can you let me know which writing are you taking? IELTS academic or general? Which writing section do you find the hardest? Part 1 or task 1 or task 2? So, since I have a few of you here, I actually want to do an exercise with you guys. I'm going to write a question in the chat box, and I want you to take time to actually type out the question to me and tell me how exactly you would answer this question in the IELTS speaking section. So, since we are talking about IELTS speaking, and I know a few of you have your exam coming. Why not take advantage of this live and really do some mock test questions and answers with you? So, who's ready with me to participate in this IELTS speaking test? I want you to write it like you would actually say it to the examiner. And this way I can actually uh okay, great. I'm glad a few of you are in. Thank you, Sandeep. So I want you to write what are your hobby I want you to write your answer for what are your hobbies. Hi, Gagandeep. Okay, right now is there, would you like to participate in this um IELTS speaking mock test that we are doing? I have wrote a question in the chat box, and I want you to actually to answer this question back in the chat box so I can help you, or if you need any improvement, I could suggest any way you could improve on your answer. Great. That's a great answer. Well, I have to. Well, I have. Well, if I have time, I prefer to play football, listen to the music, and also I love to while away afternoon watching movies. Okay, so that's a great answer, Sandeep. I'm just going to suggest something. So when you talk about time, you do not have to put in front of it. So you would say, well, if I have time, I prefer to play football. And when you talk about music, you don't say the music. You just say listen to music. So if I prefer, I play football, listen to music, and also to I love to while away afternoon. Sorry, I can you explain that part to me? And whenever I have free time, I want to read different books, and sometimes I like to hang out with my friends. That's great. That's a good answer, Rawinder. I would even say one more sentence. It would be nice if you could try to emphasize a bit more, because remember, you are trying to show off your English language capabilities. So I always recommend my students to answer with 3 to 4 sentences for IELTS speaking part 1, but not too long. Obviously, maximum 4 sentences, just because the examiner will actually cut you off if you are taking too long to answer your question. All right, so I'm going to ask another challenge. I'm going to ask some challenging questions because I want to see that if you do, in fact, get this type of question, would you understand it or would it be challenging? I want you to take a careful look at this question. It says, are there any scenic views in your hometown? I'm going to give you a minute to think of this question. Does anyone know, or can anyone volunteer and tell me before you answer, what are scenic views? Scenic views. So, what are scenic views? Can somebody tell me? Uh, Ronak, and please give me something to improve my speaking test. Honestly, the only way to improve your speaking band score is by practicing. Uh, and also, obviously, listening to podcasts or practicing with a friend, talking. There's so many different ways to improve. And honestly, if you don't have someone to practice with, I highly, highly recommend that you start reading. It's a great way to really understand. And honestly, another great tip is to start watching your favorite TV shows with English subtitles or in English, because then that way you kind of get an idea of how the words are being structured or connected, and that will be a lot better. So, Ronak, I highly recommend that you start following these tips that I'm suggesting is by reading, like I said, watching your favorite TV shows in English or speaking with a friend. Hi, Larry. Yes, I would love to do a reading session. I would love to do anything to help you guys. So this is something I would definitely consider. Maybe I can do a mock test, reading mock test with you guys live, so that way you guys are able to actually practice finding the answers in a simulated environment. In my free time, I like to watch movies and listen to music. Also, I have keen in reading book. Great question. Great answer, Gagandeep. I would say also I have been keen in reading books of different fields. And Sandeep wrote, yes, obviously, as my hometown is rich in natural resources, find a beautiful scenic of a greenery jungle. Great, Sandeep. That's very good answer. Don't worry, we can get you can get more assistance. I will definitely try to help you today. If you emailed me, then that way I could directly message you back. And there are a lot of picturesque places in my hometown which are more fascinating, like Buddha Vihar, KBN. Very good, Shania. I like the use of picturesque. That's very a vocabulary that's related to the context. Picturesque is a perfect word to use for scenery. And one more, Essie. Very great. You guys are doing great. So I know recently another student had reported being asked a question about how would you answer this question. So BBQ stands for barbecue. I guess I should have uh wrote it out for those who don't know the acronym of barbecue. Great choice of words, Sandeep. That's great. It's great that you mentioned why you like barbecuing season because it builds memories with your friends. That's a great choice of words. And one thing I want to say is using the words plethora is no, that's more of a formal word. Uh, Native English speakers don't really say plethora. I would use something like um I can have a great time and build lots of memories. I would use the word more of lots of memories just because this shows the examiner that I know how to speak like a native English speaker. Would anyone else like to type an answer so I can try to assist you guys? I just wanted to apologize for the background noise as well as my children are home today. So I love barbecue because it is a well spiced meat. I ate chicken barbecue with my friends yesterday and it was delicious. That's great, Lorraine. Great answer. One thing I want to say is that try to use the same tense throughout your answer. So I love barbecue is more of a present tense, but then you're saying I ate chicken barbecue with my friends, which is the past. You could say something like I love eating chicken as barbecue with my friends, which is more of the present or the future, showing the examiner that you know the difference between your tenses. This is just a suggestion. I hope uh, me correcting you guys on this live chat is okay, but I really want to help you guys all. I know it's not possible to meet everyone. One by one in private. That's why I prefer to do this live chat so I'm able to help you. And you could, oh, great, great, Sandeep. Just so I'm able to help you and, give you suggestions on how to improve. I'm going to write another question in the chat box and I want to see how you guys answer it. Let's read Shania's. As I am a foodie person, I found it's one of my favorite food. I enjoy when I go to the river on the weekend. I cook chicken barbecue. That's great, Shania. That's a great answer that you gave. So, just to correct your sentence a little, um, using words such as I structuring your sentence a little different. Everything you said was great, Shania. I would say something like, uh, to be on something like, how can I say this? Uh, Everyone tells me I'm a foodie, and I didn't understand the part about the cousin. Just can you just clarify I am fond of cousin? Do you mean that you like going for a barbecue with your cousin? Did you mean you like going for a barbecue with your cousin, Shania? Yes. Oh, sorry, this was Samantha. So for the barbecue question, Shania, if you meant you'd like to go with your cousin, I would say everyone knows that how much I'm a foodie and I love to eat. Especially barbecue. I love to go have barbecue with my cousin, and we always end up barbecuing chicken, something along these lines. So let's see, Raven. Here are a lot of food items available among them. I love to eat pizza with my friends because it is famous all over the country. Also, it is delicious food. That's great. That's a great answer. Uh, Sandeep, well, this scenario is like once in a blue moon. Great use, great choice of words, Sandeep. I like that, once in a blue moon, because especially people in my friends share chocolate to each other rather than sharing flowers. Great. That's really good. Hi, Samantha. Thank you for joining us on the live. People give flowers in my hometown, especially during festive holiday. That's great. That's great, Lorray. That's a great answer. I would just touch up on and maybe say one or two festive holidays that people give flowers in your hometown, because giving examples and expanding on your ideas is always good in IELTS speaking. So I would say something like, people love to give flowers in my hometown during graduations, or when somebody has a child, something like this. Yes, Samantha, I think we're all foodies. I love food too. So I'm going to give a few minutes for those who didn't answer the question about flowers, because I know this could be a tricky question, and I'm going to ask you another question related to flowers. I want to see how you would answer that question. It's more challenging than this one, but it's related to flowers. So I'm going to mute the mic and give you some time for 1 minute or 20 seconds. Let's see what you guys would say about flowers. These are great answers, guys. Great answers. We'll give everybody else about 30 more seconds. Let's see if other people will chime in. This is great. This is great. Lorraine, great answer. We give flowers during birthdays, graduation, and Valentine's Day. I love flowers, especially roses. Great answer. Samantha, flowers a- are really is a really good piece of present which we usually give to another on his birthday or any traditional festival. That's great. So when you say flower, flower is singular. So I see a few of you wrote flower, but we ba- as people we barely give someone one flower. So you should be saying flowers to be plural, more than one. So this is something I just want to point out for those of you who wrote flower. Flower would only be one flower. So try to, unless you do give one flower to somebody, then you would say, I usually give a flower to for graduation or whatever the case may be. So that's something I wanted to point out. And let's see who else. People give flowers in my hometown, especially during festive holidays. Yes, great, Lorraine. Great answers, guys. So that was my only feedback I want to give you guys is to just remember your choice of singular, plural for given words. So I'm going to mute the mic again, and I wrote another question in the chat box. Please take a minute to answer it, and then I will be looking at those answers. These are great answers. Great answers, guys. These are great answers that you are giving about flowers. Since I have you guys here, I just wanted to say thank you all for actually responding to these answers and allowing me to suggest my ideas to you. I really want to help you guys all pass your IELTS exam. I know how challenging it could be. Um, oh, that's so sweet. My teacher, I really like you. That's so sweet, Samantha. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, since I have you guys on the line, I want to talk. I'm going to shift the conversation a little. And I really wanted to talk about some common mistakes students make in the speaking section. So, now that I gave you some time uh, to actually practice answering, now you have an idea of what I mean by common mistakes students make, and that I want to make sure you don't make the same mistake. So, the first mistake students often make are grammar and vocabulary mistakes. So, for example, using the incorrect grammar or vocabulary can significantly, meaning it could really impact your score. And you need to be sure that you actually don't make this mistake. If you make this mistake the first time, identify your mistake and do not make it again. And be sure to practice your English regularly to familiarize yourself with common use of words and phrases that you could use. And then for pronunciation, you need to ensure that when you are trying to pronounce a word, this is another common mistake a lot of students make, which is why I recommend you don't use high vocabulary words you have a hard time pronouncing, because one of the band descriptors, the examiner will actually be grading you on how you are able or how well you are able to pronounce that word. So make sure that you use words that you are comfortable pronouncing, because if you don't pronounce it right, this will impact your score. Again, use words that you are comfortable using, you know how to say, practice saying them before you say it, because you don't want to mess up on exam day. So this is number 2 of the common mistakes that students often make in the IELTS speaking exam. And number 3 is speaking too slow or too fast. You need to maintain a steady speed, a moderate pace, like I said, because if you talk too slow, the examiner is going to be like, this person is not comfortable clearly speaking English. You need to speak in a steady pace, so that way the examiner doesn't cut you off if you talk for too long or too slow. So remember that. And guys, I really need you to listen to the fourth common mistake a lot of students make. Please, I need your full attention here. The fourth common mistake is pausing too much. When you are talking to the examiner, try not to pause too much. If you need a minute or two to think of an idea to talk about, or something you need to think about, literally tell the examiner, let me think about that for a minute, and take 20 to 30 seconds to think about it. But don't just pause and be like, mm, don't say, don't use filler words. Literally tell the examiner what you are doing. Let me think about that. Oh, that's a great question. Just give me a minute. So that way you are not staying out in the out on the clouds, and the examiner is left with, oh, why did he or she just stay quiet? Maybe they are not confident in talking. So the fifth tip is not answering the question directly. Make sure you understand the question before you begin talking. Literally highlight what you have to answer the question within IELTS Speaking Part 2. Highlight what is expected of you. Make sure you write it in your brainstorming section, so that way the examiner knows that you are not going to talk about anything unrelated within your answer. Stay on topic. Do not talk about anything that has nothing to do with what the examiner asked you. Samantha, our channel is from Toronto, Canada. We live in Toronto. So, guys, these are the. Where did you say you were from, Samantha? Where are you joining from? So, guys, these are the 5 tips I had for you of the most common mistakes students often make in the IELTS speaking section. This is important for you to know, to remember, and I want to turn the table on you and ask you if you have any questions for me. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer before I sign off, I'm here to help you all, and I will really take into consideration to do a YouTube live on the IELTS reading section. If you'd like to suggest any other content you'd like to see in the future on my YouTube channel, or you'd like me to do any lives in specific, please let me know in the comment section so I can ensure that I am helping you with your needs and what exactly you require. Larray, sure. My favorite flower is roses. It is bright red in color. My husband gifted me with a beautiful flower on Valentine's Day. That's great. I like how you actually describe the color of roses you like, especially because there is so many different roses. That's a great answer you gave. And I would even put something about the scent of a flower. Try to use vocabulary words that relate to flowers, like the smell, the scent, the fragrance. That's just a suggestion, adding maybe another sentence to that, explaining the smell of it. Oh, that's great, Samantha. Yes, I will definitely do a session on reading. It seems that a few of you are interested in that, and that's something I will definitely prepare for. Um, I will put in my email in the chat box as well. I have inserted it, eslwordshelp at gmail.com. I am from India and hope to come to Canada in September. Great, Samantha. We'd love to have you here in Canada. Welcome. That's great, Shania. I hope that you are able to one day pass your IELTS exam and join us here in Canada. I have confidence in all of you to score a high band. I really know that you guys are very, very intelligent, very smart. It just takes practice, honestly. It's not like it's challenging, yes, but there's techniques and strategies to follow to actually get around those techniques, and then for sure you will be able to score that band you require. Could you teach me through Zoom meeting? Yes, I could, Rabin. This is something I am actually working towards setting up. It seems that a lot of you are interested in group meeting, in meeting through Zoom. Private calls would be a bit challenging. It would be more of a group sessions, because honestly, I think learning through groups is such a great way of learning off each other and getting ideas off each other. Thank you, Larray. Thank you. Yes, the thing is, if I did do Zoom private coaching Zoom calls, I wouldn't be able to reach so many students. For example, we have 7 students here, and having a Zoom call with one-on-one students is very challenging to try to help so many of you. But definitely, I may consider it for a few people for sure, but majority of my classes will be group sessions. And also, please join this mailing list. I have pinned at the top right here. I will put it in the chat box again. If you are able to join this, then you will be given free material when I release new videos, free material. You will be able to have access to extra free stuff that I always send my subscribers and my students. So, guys, I wish you the best of luck on your IELTS journey. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. I have included my email in the chat box. I have confidence that all of you will pass the IELTS exam, and I will hopefully just chat with you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining me on today's call. If there's any other questions, please let me know before I go. I will stay for another minute to see if anyone has any other questions. I am Nigerian and planning to write my IELTS soon. Great, Lorraine. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Shania. I'm glad you found this session useful. Thank you, Samantha. You have a wonderful day as well. Take care, guys, and I wish you the best of luck. Bye now.